Have you ever sat back and wondered, why do so many elderly couples, after spending a lifetime together, seem more like distant companions than loving partners? Why does she sit in silence at the dinner table? Why does she no longer share stories, laughter, or even complaints the way she used to? The truth is, love in a long-term marriage doesn't simply vanish. It fades, slowly worn down by years of unspoken emotions, unmet needs, and forgotten moments. A wife who once found joy in caring for her husband may now feel unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. It's not about grand arguments or sudden betrayals. Instead, it's the quiet, everyday disappointments that create the deepest cracks. Many elderly women have shared their wisdom about this stage of marriage, and their stories hold valuable life lessons for us all. They remind us that frustration doesn't come from a lack of love, but from a lack of emotional connection. She doesn't want luxury. She wants to feel valued. She doesn't need perfection. She needs presence. And yet, many husbands don't see it happening until it's too late. That's why today, we're diving into 7 hard truths about why women in long-term marriages grow frustrated with their husbands. More importantly, we'll explore what can be done to restore that lost connection before it's too late. So, if you value love, companionship, and the wisdom that comes with aging, stay with me until the end. And if you find these insights meaningful, please like this video and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Story. Your support helps us share these life lessons with more people. Now, let's uncover the first truth: realizing that life is too short. Reason 1. Realizing that life is too short. As the years pass, a quiet question begins to settle in the hearts of many women. Is this the happiness I once dreamed of? After decades of nurturing a marriage, raising children, and tending to a home, many elderly women find themselves pausing, reflecting on all they have given and wondering if they have truly been cherished in return. Once, their lives were filled with laughter, deep conversations, and tender moments. But slowly, without either partner realizing it, those intimate connections began to fade. Now, the house feels quieter, their days more predictable, and their nights bring a different kind of loneliness. Not from being alone, but from feeling unseen. They do not necessarily stop loving their husbands, but they begin to withdraw emotionally. Not because they want to, but because they are tired. The effort to be acknowledged, to be valued, to be truly heard, it becomes exhausting. And so, they retreat into silence, carrying a quiet sorrow that their partners may never even notice. But love does not have to disappear into the past. It can be rekindled. A touch, a kind word, a thoughtful gesture. These small moments can breathe life back into a marriage that feels faded by time. It is never too late to nurture the love that still lingers beneath the years of routine, because in the end, life moves quickly, and the time to cherish each other is not tomorrow, it is today. But emotional distance is not the only thing that weighs on women as they age. Beyond the fading connection, another burden quietly builds, one that many carry alone, often without recognition. Reason 2. The emotional burden becomes too heavy. In the beginning, I believed marriage was a shared journey, 2 people carrying life's joys and struggles together, hand in hand. But as the years passed, I slowly came to a painful realization. Many of those burdens had quietly fallen onto my shoulders alone. I became the one who remembered every birthday, every doctor's appointment, every little detail of our children's lives. I planned every meal, kept track of the bills, ensured the house was clean, and made sure everything ran smoothly. Not because I was asked to, but because I had always done it. And somewhere along the way, my husband simply assumed these things happened. It wasn't that he was unkind or unwilling. It just never crossed his mind that these invisible responsibilities had weight. And that weight was mine to carry. I do not resent him, but I do feel exhausted. There are days when I wonder, who takes care of me? I have spent a lifetime making sure everyone else is looked after, but when I need support, I often find myself standing alone. But marriage should not be a silent agreement where one person carries the weight while the other walks freely. It is time to change that narrative, to speak up, to ask for help, and to remind our partners that love means truly seeing one another. It means sharing the load, not simply sharing a home. Yet, even when the responsibilities of daily life are divided more equally, another quiet struggle remains. Because beyond housework and routines, another part of marriage fades if it is not nurtured. One that many women long for but are too afraid to express. Reason 3, the loss of intimacy. I still remember the simple gestures, the way he used to reach for my hand without thinking, the warmth of his touch on my shoulder, the way his eyes softened when he looked at me. Back then, love was effortless, woven into the smallest moments of our everyday life. But over time, those moments became rare. The hand-holding stopped, the lingering gazes faded, and the spontaneous kisses disappeared. The playful affection that once made my heart race was replaced by routine conversations about bills, errands, and responsibilities. One day, I realized something painful. We were no longer lovers. We had become roommates. It was not that love had vanished completely, but it had become buried beneath years of familiarity. The absence of tenderness does not always mean the absence of love, but it does leave a void, a quiet ache, a longing for something that once felt so natural. Women do not crave extravagant romantic gestures or grand declarations of love. We do not need candlelit dinners or lavish gifts to feel special. What we long for is something much simpler. A touch on the arm as we pass in the hallway, a genuine compliment, a heartfelt, "I love you," spoken without reason. These small acts hold incredible power, capable of bridging even the widest emotional distances. Because intimacy is not just about physical connection. It is about feeling seen, cherished, and valued. It is about knowing that even after all these years, you are still desired, still appreciated, still the one who makes his heart feel at home. But intimacy does not fade on its own. It is often a reflection of something deeper, a lack of true, meaningful connection. Even when a couple still speaks, it does not always mean they are truly communicating. And without real communication, even love itself can begin to feel distant. Reason 4, lack of meaningful communication. There was a time when we could talk for hours, sharing our dreams, laughing over the smallest things, and feeling like we were the only two people in the world. Every conversation felt effortless, a bridge that kept us connected no matter what life threw our way. But somewhere along the way, that changed. The deep, meaningful talks turned into routine exchanges. "How was your day?" became a question asked out of habit, not genuine curiosity. Responses became shorter, conversations lost their warmth, and eventually, silence settled between us. Not the comfortable kind, but the kind that feels like distance. I would sit across from him at the dinner table, watching him stare at the TV or scroll through his phone, and I wondered, when did we stop truly listening to each other? Women do not just need someone to sit beside them. We need someone who sees us, who hears us, who cares enough to ask, "How are you really feeling?" And when that connection is lost, women begin to retreat. Not because they want to, but because feeling unheard is lonelier than being alone. But communication is not gone forever. Can be rebuilt. Just 15 minutes a day, without distractions, without interruptions, just two people truly talking and listening, can begin to repair the emotional distance. Love is not just about living together. It is about staying connected. But even when words are spoken, actions matter just as much. And when one person carries the weight of a household alone, it is not just the body that grows tired, it is the heart as well. Reason 5, the never-ending household chores. Many women dream of retirement as a time of rest, a long-awaited chance to finally slow down, enjoy peaceful mornings, and savor the joys of life. But for many, retirement does not bring the freedom they imagined. Instead, it brings the same responsibilities, the same routines, and the same exhaustion. Even though I no longer have a job outside the home, I am still the first to wake up, preparing meals, cleaning, and ensuring everything is in order. The house does not run itself, and though my days of working for a paycheck have ended, my work at home never stopped. Meanwhile, my husband enjoys his retirement, reading the newspaper, watching TV, pursuing his hobbies, all while I continue carrying the weight of the household alone. It is not that he is intentionally ignoring the work that needs to be done. It is that he has never had to think about it. For decades, I made sure everything was taken care of, and now he assumes it simply happens. But over time, something inside me changed. I realized that if I did not speak up, nothing would ever change. Marriage should be a partnership, not a lifetime of one person carrying the weight while the other simply exists within it. I started having honest conversations. I explained how exhausted I felt, how I longed for my retirement to feel like our retirement, not just his. And slowly, things began to shift. Because if a marriage is truly built on love and respect, both partners should contribute, not out of obligation, but out of care for one another. Yet, even when chores are shared, another kind of distance can creep in, the distance between two people who once walked the same path, but now find themselves wanting different things out of life. Reason 6. One person grows, the other stays the same. As I grew older, I realized something that both excited and terrified me. I still had dreams. There were things I had never done, places I had never seen, interests I had never explored. I wanted to take a painting class, join a book club, travel to new places, and embrace life in a way I had never been able to before. But my husband did not share this desire. He found comfort in his routines, content with his usual TV shows, the same circle of friends, the same predictable days. He did not understand why I wanted change, nor did he see the loneliness I felt when I had to pursue these things alone. First, I felt guilty. I wondered if I was being selfish for wanting more, for craving something beyond our comfortable life. But then I realized marriage does not mean sacrificing growth. A couple does not need to share every interest, but they must support each other's passions. It hurt when he dismissed my excitement, when he rolled his eyes at my new hobbies or brushed off my plans. But I refused to let that stop me. I continued exploring, learning, and stepping outside my comfort zone. Not because I wanted to leave him behind, but because I needed to keep growing. The key is not to force each other into the same mold. but to encourage each other's personal journeys. A marriage thrives when both people continue to evolve, when they can celebrate each other's joys, even if they do not share them. Because at the end of the day, love is not just about living together. It is about growing together, even if the paths are not always the same. But what happens when one partner is not just uninterested in change, but entirely unprepared for the new phase of life that comes with retirement? When one person is eager for freedom, while the other struggles to fill the empty spaces left behind. Reason 7. Retirement is not what I expected. I always imagined retirement as a new beginning, a time when we could finally enjoy the rewards of all those years of hard work, traveling, trying new experiences, and embracing a slower, more fulfilling way of life. But when retirement finally arrived, I realized something heartbreaking. My husband had never planned for this stage of life. He had spent so many years working, defining himself by his career, that when it ended, he did not know who he was anymore. Instead of embracing his freedom, he looked to me to fill the void. He expected us to do everything together, eat every meal, take every walk, spend every moment side by side. It was as if I had gone from being his wife to being his new full-time job. At first, I tried to accommodate him. I adjusted my schedule, put aside my own plans, and tried to be the companion he so desperately needed. But in doing so, I lost myself. I felt suffocated, as if my long-awaited independence had been taken away before I ever had the chance to enjoy it. That is when I realized retirement should not mean losing who we are as individuals. Marriage is important, but so is personal identity. We both need our own interests, our own friends, our own sense of purpose outside of each other. So, I gently encouraged him to find new passions, reconnect with old friends, and discover what brought him joy beyond our marriage. It was not easy, but over time, he started to see that retirement was not just about filling empty hours. It was about creating a new life that was meaningful for both of us. Because the truth is, no marriage can survive if one person feels trapped. Love should never be a cage. It should be the support that allows both people to fly, keeping love alive. Marriage is a journey, a long, winding road filled with joy, challenges, and moments of deep connection. But if love is not nurtured, it does not disappear overnight. It fades slowly, like a fire left untended. The good news? Love is never truly gone. It simply waits for a kind word, for a shared laugh, for the small gestures that remind us why we chose this life together in the first place. So, what will you do today to nurture love in your marriage? A thoughtful message, a shared memory, a gentle touch. These small acts can bring back what once felt lost, because love is not just about staying together. It is about choosing each other every single day. If you found these insights meaningful, please like this video and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Story. Let's continue learning valuable lessons on love, marriage, and life. Thank you for watching, and may your journey in love always be filled with warmth and understanding.